Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Piledriver Pundit titled It's a New World Order. I, of course, am your Piledriver Pundit, and I am joined, of course, by my co-host on Uncaged and on the RWT podcast, sometimes kicking it with the TSK. Also, one of my good buddies. Of course, I'm talking about the one, the only, the podcast machine. If you can think of a wrestling podcast, he's probably been on it at least one time. Michael frickin' Larkin, how are you?
I'm too sweet. I am so happy to be talking the NWO. It's a new world order with you, Dan. Thank you as always for having me.
Absolutely. It's I believe it was maybe was it Wednesday, I think.
Yep.
Was the 30th anniversary of Bash at the Beach in 1996.
That's crazy, man.
It is. Like, I looked at it, I thought, really? I mean, partially because it makes me feel old.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember watching that show, and the big thing throughout the whole night was, who's the third man? Now, before we even get to that, I think it's more important to talk about how we got here.
Well, you have Hulk Hogan, who signed with WCW in 1994, and then you had Kevin Nash and Scott Hall leave the WWF in 1996 at the peak of the Monday Night Wars, and Hulk Hogan wasn't doing jack shit as a babyface, so he then decided, hey, I'll go with this plan to become the third man of the NWO, which was originally going to be Sting, but that wouldn't worked out well. And at the Bash of the Beach, he leg drops Macho Man Randy Savage, cuts the promo, you can call this the New World Order, dash through the ring the whole night.
You said it perfectly. We had that really cool story. I believe it was a Nitro where you see Scott Hall just walking through the crowd, and you're just like, wait, is that? And then it keeps happening, and then we see Kevin Nash, and it's like, wait a minute. Like, huh? So then we see that. And then I remember, I think it was Great American Bash 06.
96.
96, where Bischoff gets power bombed through the stage.
Sold it perfectly.
Oh, he sold it like a champ.
Mm-hmm.
And Nash put some stank on that power bomb.
Oh, yeah. Scott Hall punched to the gut, and then Kevin does the jackknife right through the stage. It was fantastic.
That's something that I've said that Vince probably would have done. But more to the point, that was the catalyst. And then we had the match. It was, I believe it was Sting, Luger, and Savage.
Mm-hmm.
And it was supposed to be Hall, Nash, and a third person. Well, the whole night it was, he's coming. He's coming. If I'm not mistaken, I think Hogan was doing a movie at the time, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, you had Mr. Nanny and Suburban Commando before that. He was doing Thunder in Paradise. He was doing whatever he was doing.
Suburban Commando's an absolute classic.
Yes. You know what it is, too, when you think of that movie?
You're a dead man, Ramsey.
That, and also the fact that we have Christopher Lloyd, the comedic timing and duo there, and like Daniel mentioned, The Undertaker. But the stuff that even goes into it like that, I mean, you even had Hulk Hogan trying his hand at acting, but still, I mean, he was doing Walker, Texas Ranger guest spot at the time. So, I mean, he was still doing his thing.
Absolutely. And then, there was a thought, well, who was the backup? I've heard there had been a few options, but the main one that has been confirmed was it was going to be Sting.
Would not have worked.
Short term, maybe, but if you think Sting was Mr. WCW.
Yeah, when you have Surfer Sting and he's taking on Flair, he's taking on the Great Muta, Cactus Jack, and then you want to make that guy who was the quintessential babyface at the time, turn heel. It, like you mentioned, I would think for like a couple months, but also at the same time too, the trajectory of where we would get the Crow gimmick really helped him out and gave him a new resurgence.
Exactly. And even if you think about, like, who else could they have gotten? Like, it had, as much as I hate it, and I'll say it, fuck the Hulk Hogan.
Fuck the Hulk Hogan.
Hogan was the perfect choice. And it's only looking back then, hearing it, I didn't think much of it, but you see it as an adult and you hear him come down, you see ski about and get all excited. Oh my God, it's Hulk Hogan. But then you hear Bobby the Brain Heenan saying, yeah, but whose side is he on?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, at the time, it's just like, oh, he's just being Bobby Heenan, he's a heel, he always hated Hulkamania. But you watch it as an adult and you're just like, of course, we see Hall, as soon as you see Hall and Nash clear the ring, you're just like, yeah, it's
What's also great about it too is, and like we mentioned, like Hulk Hogan was not getting over as a babyface in the '90s. I mean, he beats.
He was getting booed.
Yeah, he's beating Flair for the WCW title. He has the infamous "There's no Hulkamaniacs here" with the Dungeon of Doom. He has the infamous feud with the Giant and Cobo Hall and all that stuff. So I mean, and the monster truck of the Yeti and all that stuff. So he was doing jack shit, really. This was a good resurgence for Hulk, and for a guy who hadn't been a bad guy in what, like 16 years since the days of the Incredible Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, and then I remember at Shivani, he gets crap for his style, but man, he sold that perfectly.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
And then just hearing, like, as soon as like Hogan, jumps up for the leg. And here's what doesn't make sense as an adult.
Yeah.
3-on-3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why did WCW win by disqualification?
Yeah, that made no sense. That was the only
Hogan was their partner.
Mm-hmm.
He pinned Randy Savage. 1, 2, 3. It makes no sense.
That was the only caveat, because it's like they're waiting for the third man, but then it's a DQ because of whatever reason. But yeah, that was WCW's booking at the time.
There were people I think could have worked, but not big enough stars to have that kind of impact.
No, honestly, looking back at it now, and I mean, I was young at the time. I wasn't really that into wrestling yet. I was only 4 in 1996. So watching it through the adult lens and the adult eyes, I've always looked at it like this. Even now, as we're talking about it 30 years later, I always look at it from a stance like this. Who else could it have been but Hulk Hogan? For someone who really needed it at the time, and you think of someone who was true WWF, and you have what a lot of people consider the WWF invaders, the outsiders, if you will. Scott Hall does the "You want a war, you got one." Kevin Nash comes in where the big boys play. So you hyped it up so well, and this was the perfect finale to really have the birth of the NWO.
I mean, the only other person who I think maybe would have been Randy Savage.
Randy Savage turning in the match? Okay, that could have been something. I mean, yeah, I mean, he eventually became a member of the NWO, as did everybody.
Because Hogan didn't want him to get over.
Of course. You got me, brother.
Oh, you got me, brother.
Still never not going to get old. I'm sorry. I'll be honest, even watching back in 2002, watching The Undertaker drag him on his motorcycle still makes me laugh, because I have that image of "You got me, brother" in my head. It still makes me laugh.
And there's some personal animosity towards them.
Did you also see what the 24-year anniversary is? Something that you and I quote all the time is?
What?
Oh, God! Kevin
Nash,
yeah. Kevin Nash there in his quad just turned 24 years old that anniversary. Oh, that was so bad, because Kevin Nash literally came back like 3-4 months later, and then he gets hurt again.
And even he makes fun of that.
It is, because it was so ridiculous. You and I even remember talking about it. We're like, what happened? Like, what happened here?
Well, see, I don't know what's funnier, that or Vince tearing his quad. I mean, injuries are never funny.
No. But
I remember when it happened, Vince starts to stand up, sits back down, and it's like,
God damn it.
What?
Yeah, right? And he's yelling from the floor.
Imagine how much pain he had to be in.
Yeah, apparently from what Edge has said, he literally walked out on his whole own accord with 2 quad tears. And he drove to the hospital cell with 2 quad tears. Crazy.
Probably took a bunch of cocaine and,
Ah.
So we get this. We get the end. We get the turn. What seal it? And to the cameraman, kudos. You have kind of like instead of what would have been normally like a close up, this is more of like a wide angle shot. Mean Gene comes in, does the interview, and that ring is full of trash. And it's hitting them, and like you just see Hall and Nash just kind of like looking around like, oh my God, this worked.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, what Hogan said in that promo was right. And we got that new world order of wrestling. The build up, after that was kind of close. It's like, well, what happens now? And then I remember the infamous at MGM Studios right at the entrance. I always like those Nitros because those episodes are pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see NXT do something like that.
That would be fire. That would definitely be something of very old school nostalgia for them to do.
Yeah. And then I remember one night, I believe it was Dungeon of Doom versus the Horsemen.
That sounds about right, yes.
And you see Jimmy Hart, trying to grab Cranman and saying, "You gotta come back with me, gotta come back." And you see a bunch of people laid out, and you see Hall and Nash. Rey Mysterio comes out of the trailer he was getting ready in, jumps onto Nash, and Nash just lawn darts him into the side of the trailer.
Literally yeets him into the side of the trailer. It's still one of the most iconic images.
I don't know what had there that were more that or the Big Show spot.
The Big Show from Backlash 03 where he has the stretcher. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, man, I think from what Ray has said, I think that one hurt worse because it really knocked the wind out of him because he's got nowhere to go. He's on the stretcher and then, just. So, I mean, I think the Big Show, he said, was the worst one.
And Big Show even said, like, because wrestlers will always, like, oil up their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I grab the ropes and, like, I catch them then. Like, they just. Boop. Because if you know, like, when you fall, like, as wrestlers, you, like, fall kind of like that.
Yes.
Or all he could really do is kind of tuck his head.
Yeah, and I mean, Reyes even said, like, Big Show felt so bad, he went to the hospital with him, which kudos, absolutely. But it's just like, yeah, like, it's stuff like that. I still even have that image, watching that as a 10-year-old, 11-year-old kid, and then you watch it years later, I can still feel the sound of that, and especially with the lawn dart spot.
Like, to me, the only sound with that I can still recall, Royal Rumble 99, Mick Foley and The Rock.
Those chair shots, yes.
That one and The Rock hitting Ken Shamrock.
That one was great. Well, he told him, hit me as hard as you can, and he did.
I think he was probably afraid that Ken would have hurt him if he didn't.
Yeah, and also because Ken Shamrock is nuts, literally, and especially for those who've seen his tweets nowadays, he's literally nuts.
Like, he's been crazy for a while.
Yeah, the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock.
I still wonder what happened between he and Triple H. Like, that's just like, of all the people that come back, not him.
Should be in the Hall of Fame. The only really love that they gave him, he was only in WWE 13. Like, that was about it.
Well, he's been in the past like 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I remember WWE 13. What was the other one he was in?
The most recent ones.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, but yeah, I distinctly remember WWE 13. I'm like, oh, cool, we get to play as Ken Shamrock. But yeah, after the Jericho feud in '99, it was done.
I don't know. I still say something happened.
From what Ken said on CVV, I think they also wanted him to work with China, and he refused because it's like, I've always told my kids, never put your hands on a woman, and he didn't feel right doing an intergender match.
And he stood on business.
And he did. That I can respect him for. Absolutely.
And I just remember, you have that happen, and then it leads to the Big Show versus Hulk Hogan at Sturgis.
Yep.
And one thing I can say that WCW did well at that time was they made matches feel like big fights, like how important this was.
And also with the fact that Eric also put a lot of those shows on at Sturgis because, he's a biker guy and he likes to go down there. That crowd is lively. That crowd is red hot. And, you're going to get a good crowd with the Sturgis.
I'm honestly surprised AEW or WWE haven't thought of doing that.
If I was to think of who would do it first, probably Tony. I think Tony would probably go there first.
Even I remember, was it Beach Bash that WCW did where they were, I think it was even a 1 year for Bash at the Beach where they were on a beach.
Yep, they were on the beach. Yep.
I think that'd be kind of cool.
It helps. It gives me like MTV vibes when you would see the musical guests in Cancun. Do something like that.
Yeah. So, I think you have options. And then and I remember you're thinking, oh my God, Big Show might actually do this. He might pull this off. And then, of course, NWO gets involved. Big Show does what he does, and he fights it off. And then you see I think he was the Boogeyman at the time.
Yes, Brutus.
Ed Leslie, a.k.a. the Zodiac, a.k.a. Brutus the Barber Beefcake, essentially helps Hogan when Hogan smashes him with the title.
Yep.
And then what do we get? We get Hogan 1, 2, 3 gets a belt. They start peltering the arena or the ring with garbage again. And then the Boogeyman comes out, offers him a cake, he beats up his friend and does another promo. On the cake was a thing of black spray paint.
Yep.
And that's when they spray painted the big gold. Now, fun fact, that was the only big gold they had. And that was real spray paint. And talking to people that have actually held the real deal, which, by the way, it's owned by Ric Flair's son-in-law, Conrad.
Hey, Conrad Thompson here.
And he's confirmed, if you look at the belt up close, there are areas where there's still black spray paint.
It's such an iconic moment, even just to see that still 30 years later with that match. And I also look at it like that, man. That's one of those moments, even having that bit of spray paint adds more value to it because that match and that belt is a part of history.
Exactly. And the fact you had Dusty Rhodes on commentary telling the world just how much this desecrated the title. He's talking about how he once held that exact title and it was perfect. And then they started taking over and adding people, and some people add okay, others no.
Vincent.
I was thinking more Glenn Gilberti.
Yes, at the end. We had Brian Adams in there as well. Brian Adams was cool. I had no problem with Brian Adams.
A.K.A. Crush.
Crush, God rest his soul.
Which, just as a aside, why was he not included with the Hall of Fame?
I don't know. I don't get that. With Demolition, yeah. We could have had an honorary mention for Crush.
Barry Darso, a.k.a. Smash, even said, hey, I think we should add him.
And they said, yeah.
They said, no, we're good.
We're good.
We're all the way good. No, go ahead.
Oh, no, thanks, man. I was going to say, it's one of those things, too, when you add, some of the good members and the bad members, you mentioned Glenn Gilberti, Buff Bagwell was in there. Of course, Scott Steiner was in there. We mentioned Vincent. We had X-Pac was in there as well. They put the $1 Million Man in there briefly. Dennis Rodman from the Celebrity.
Bret Hart.
Bret Hart at the end. Oh God, what was it? Was that NWO 2000? It was Bret Hart, Jeff Jarrett, I think Steiner.
And I think it was like when they had the silver logo.
Yeah, the silver, like NWO 2000, Wolfpack, NWO. Yeah, they just went a buck wild with it. Oh, I got one. How about the fake Sting in the NWO? The fake Sting, Jeff Farmer.
aka the Cobra.
The Cobra?
Remember when he had the military gimmick in like the mid 90s?
Yes. I just remember that jumping Jeff Farmer promo. Yup. Like, he was just such a terrible promo. He was such a terrible promo.
Knock, knock.
Who's there? Braden Walker.
Braden Walker.
That actually just had an anniversary, too. We had the 16-year anniversary of Knock Knock.
And I'm sorry, but Chris Harris was set up for failure.
With that singlet, with that promo, with that match with Armando, like 3 weeks, and that was it. And he was overweight.
Which he's admitted that was on him.
Yeah, I mean, you lose to Judas Macias in TNA in your last match. Then you do a dark match with Shelton Benjamin. Then you're on ECW for 3 weeks. The first week you beat Armando. Second week in a promo. Then you beat James Curtis, the former KC James, and then you're gone. That was it.
And it's sad.
And then he came back to TNA. Knock, knock, who's there? Braden Walker with Matt Hardy against Beer Money. And now they got back together during COVID era and also during the TNA 1000 episode. And now they are the current, the Atomic Legacy Wrestling Tag Team Champions in Florida. And do you know who they're going to be wrestling and defending their titles against at the next show?
Who?
Joseph Sawyer and Samuel Shaw, Dexter Lumis, and Joe Gacy.
Oh, nice.
Like, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do there. And also, James Storm can still go. Chris Harris is Chris Harris, so it should be fun.
You know, I think it was obvious WWE wanted them both.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for like, well, I want them okay.
Yeah, I think when they had James Storm for those couple appearances in NXT, and then he's like, yeah, I'm not going to sign here. I'm going to go back to TNA. I don't want
to. They maybe wanted him to be like a coach.
Yeah, that, and I think they wanted him on the road more, and he's like, no, I'm good.
Which, hey, good for him.
Good for him, man. Absolutely.
Now, we've all seen the interviews with Bobby Roode where he said, hey, I've got maybe one left in me.
I like that, but I also think he's also in the same standard of, I've hurt my neck too much. I think I'm going to chill. I'm going to be all right.
If he does one more, I think the best thing to do, do Beer Money one last time.
That would be fun in a tag team, yep.
Or, I think what would be really appropriate, say Slammiversary hadn't happened this year, Bobby Roode and Eric Young versus America's Most Wanted.
AMW and Team Canada one last time. I like it.
But so we had the NWO, and of course, WWE eventually did take notice and like, okay, well played. So we get D-Generation X.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about this last night. If the NWO had never happened, would the rest of this have still happened? Like, and beyond that, would Bullet Club have happened? Would AEW have happened?
I mean, I'm not entirely sure, but I think with the DX stuff, you have two guys from Shawn Michaels and Triple H doing what they did backstage and presenting it in on camera, and then you add the introduction with Chyna there, who was already managing with Triple H, and then, Chyna. And then, unfortunately, Shawn gets hurt, the back injury, and then here comes the New Age Outlaws and X-Pac back to reform that revitalization with Triple H at the front. Like, I think we would have gotten something just because they were so high on Shawn, and Triple H was, coming back from the curtain call incident. So I think you had a lot of potential to really add something with that faction still.
Yeah, so I mean, but you think, would it have been as big?
To be completely honest with you, I still think so because of the star power and where WWF was going towards the Attitude Era.
Now, I will say, we remember the DX invading Nitro bit.
Yes.
Had I been in charge of WCW, you know what I would have done?
Opened it up.
I would have said, let him in.
Yeah, but no, Eric Bischoff was like, no. You
I would
should
have
have.
let him in. I would have said, hey, come right out to the ring.
I think Triple H said it best. So, did you ever see the special that they did of that whole night on WWE Confidential
It's
back in
been
the
a
day?
while.
Okay, so WWE Confidential back in the day, they had DX come on and talk about what happened that night. And Kevin Nash was interviewed, and Triple H just goes, "What would you rather see? The same stuff that you see every week on Monday Night Raw, or would you rather have tuned in to see the show where DX came in on the tank? I know which show I would want to see." And I mean, he's right. They should have just left the door open. Go ahead.
Kind of ironic that he's saying that.
That he said, seeing the same thing each and every week. That was 2002 Triple H. Now 2026 Triple
Somebody
H.
find that clip and show it to him.
Like, I can probably look it up and dig it up to him, yeah. But that's funny. Like, I even remembering that as we're talking about it now, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of very privy to where we are today now with how he books.
But I wonder, what if WCW let him in? Like,
true.
That wouldn't have helped WWE. That would have been more in like helping WCW.
I mean, as a follow-up to that, like, even if you look at the NWO and WWE and on the topic of Triple H, there was that thing that they were starting to do before Kevin Nash got hurt. Oh, God! In the summer of 2002, like with Triple H possibly going into... The rumor was before Triple H and Shawn that there was going to be a story where Triple H did not join the NWO, and Shawn Michaels super kicks him and they take him out. And it was supposed to be Triple H and Kevin Nash at SummerSlam 02, which thank God we did not get, but we did get it a year later. And we got Triple H and Shawn and the amazing story and the build-up, Shawn turning face and having his return match with Triple H. But what do you think would have happened if we actually would have had Triple H join the NWO in 2002?
I don't think it would have been as good.
To be honest, no, because when you have them at the helm and you're mixing the DX and NWO in that, it doesn't have the same appeal and feel like it did back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Now, had you been sober and you had Scott Hall with that, that would have been something.
Yeah, because I mean, with Scott Hall, and I mean, God rest his soul, like his last real match was him and Bradshaw Backlash 02. And then I think, and of course, the plane ride from hell, he did the Insurrection 02 thing and that whole debacle. But I mean, then after that, he was gone. But still, like, if you would have stayed sober and stayed on the straight and narrow, that would have been fun to have that inclusion there. And I mean, if you look at the 2002 version and how it was, do you think it was screwed from the jump because Hulk Hogan turned babyface at WrestleMania 18?
Well, going to that point,
Yeah.
I don't think he would have been a heel regardless because, like, I don't think they had a choice.
No, because that Canadian crowd cheered Hogan against The Rock.
Like, you even see them looking like...
Okay.
And I will still say WrestleMania 18 is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Like,
It runs up there.
I would put that, like, if you asked me top 5 WrestleManias in not necessarily order, I would say 17, 18, just for nostalgia's sake, 20.
Mm-hmm.
I would say just because of it's one that means the world to me, WrestleMania 8, and then WrestleMania 40.
That is great. Top 5.
I think the last 3 WrestleManias, I don't know how you top WrestleMania 42 or WrestleMania 40 because 42 is just the drizzling shits.
Oh, 42 is terrible. But WrestleMania 40 with Cody finishing the story and all that good stuff was fantastic.
I kind of dread, like...
Well, we got Cody and Punk now as the main event of, I believe, night 1, so we'll see.
You know, the last time we ever got of the NWO was, I think it was WrestleMania 31.
Yeah,
which made no sense. Like, they're enemies.
Mm-hmm. Like, if you look at your WCW history, like, the NWO and Sting never liked each other. Like, Sting was the one who beat Hulk Hogan for the title at Starrcade. You know, like, that, they're not homies. And that made no sense. And then you had DX get involved. And it was only there for Triple H to beat Sting. And, you know, but it was a cool Monday Night War moment, which Sting, we've said it many times, and we stay on that hill even 11 years later, Daniel. Like, Sting should have won that match.
Yeah. Sting should have won the WWE title from Rollins that night.
That, well, yeah, even though unfortunately he got hurt, which still sucked, even watching that again, you know?
And he's even said he doesn't blame Rollins at all.
No, it was a freak accident.
Like, Sting didn't need a long run, but till the next show.
Yeah, just so he could say he had it. I mean, he can say he did headline a WrestleMania. I mean, that's still on his bucket list. Plus, but I mean, to go on to your point also with the NWO and how they did that there just for the Monday Night War pop. And we've said this many times, even if you look at the flaws of the O2, besides Hogan turning face and then Kevin Nash gets hurt, so he's not really wrestling. He's just in the fold.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Like, even after WrestleMania 18. But Big Show made sense to put him in there because the Giant was in the NWO. But I think still the most random ass edition of the NWO was Booker T in 2002. It's just like, oh, here's Booker T in the NWO now. Okay.
Mike Rotunda was in the NWO.
That too, which is even crazy to think about. Mike Rotunda in the NWO, yeah.
Dudley Rhodes was in the NWO, baby.
Well, do you think that made sense for the commentator who had been
drafted?
No, it made no sense. Why did they make Dusty the NWO member? It was ridiculous.
Like the dude that went to war with the Horsemen.
Horsemen
is part of the NWO.
That still made no sense.
Like, that was not a good era of Dusty. Like he even said, like he got out of shape. You know, he was dealing with a lot and just.
Well, do you think it's also one of the things where you have too many cooks in the kitchen? Because for me, I think NWO at its best years was 96 and 97. But by the time we got to like 1998 and you had Kevin Nash beating Goldberg for the WCW title.
Bill
Goldberg, of course, the finger poke of doom with Hogan and Nash. I think once you started to get like when WWF was really picking up in the ratings with 98 and 99, I think once we got to like 98 with that whole thing, where do you kind of see
what?
Yeah, that too. That'll put some butts in seats. But do you also think that the peak era was around that time? And do you also think, even in your mind, Daniel, where would you say were probably the years where they started to show cracks and they started to go down?
So I think when they started having like close to like 9-10 people
coming out the limo,
like it should have stayed as Paul, Nash, Hogan, and X-Pac. You know, sure. I mean, like you didn't need Big Show, but it could have worked.
Yeah. X-Pac.
Part of the clique, so you know there's that.
Do you still think that Eric Bischoff? Well, we've said this many times. Eric Bischoff, it was an interesting moment, and it's still etched in our brains. But do you think that the announcer, who had been getting beat on and ransacked, and the boss, the owner of the company, being a part of the NWO, just made him more power hungry and power driven?
You know what we could have had is. What we could have had was, you know, them using Bischoff, manipulating him, but we didn't get that.
No, we did not.
We got the NWO gang wars.
Yeah, and Roddy Piper getting mollywopped.
Ultimate Warrior.
I tried to forget Ultimate Warrior and Hogan from Halloween Havoc 98. That match was
they just brought him in, you know, to appease Hogan's ego.
And that's a true statement. They just brought him in.
And that's not us saying it.
That's Eric Bischoff and everyone saying it. Like the story was, okay, Warrior, you're gonna come in. We're gonna do Hogan, you and Hogan. You're gonna lose to Hogan. Goodbye. That was literally it.
Now, hearing him talking about it, he would say that, like, there were more plans and just like nothing.
No. Well, with how bad that match was, I wouldn't do a second one. It was just bad.
No.
And you
Well, I mean, I
can't
think he was
replicate.
supposed to be there for a while, but like WWE was going to bring him back. Like,
Mhm.
there were plans at one point. I think it was when he came back after WrestleMania 12, was to be. I think he was supposed to get the IC title again.
Yeah, I think oh yeah, well yeah, he was feuding with Goldust. That's right. And then it went
Which,
up.
true story, the gold IC title that Dustin had.
Yeah.
Now, true story with that specific belt. If you remember, one of the last ones that Shawn Michaels had was a baby blue strap one.
Yes.
When it was time for Goldust to get his title, Reggie Parks, the guy who made it, he didn't have, another belt ready. He didn't have, he wasn't going to have it done in the time they needed it. So what does he do? Well, he has that one with the blue strap. He took the plates off, painted the blue strap gold. And that was the one that Ahmed Johnson wore because, there was a time where they thought he might be something.
And then he kept hurting people and being an asshole.
So we got that. And a collector owns that title where if you look at it now, you can kind of see like the blue paint is still there. So, with the NWO, it really became a cultural icon.
I mean, when you include people like we mentioned, Dennis Rodman and Hogan against DDP and Karl Malone on the Tonight Show, and everything that they did with DDP and Jay Leno against Hogan and Bischoff and Sturgis, like stuff like that, making the cover of TV Guide, like they knew how to bring in that celebrity involvement to become, like you mentioned, the pop culture icon and really slayed over the nation, man.
Yeah, and the NWO Civil War was kind of cool, actually. And we had the Wolfpack, we had Black and White,
Sting with the black and red face paint,
which made no sense whatsoever.
that Sting being in the Wolfpack.
And then that fell apart too quick. And then Cat Tax.
No cat in here.
Damn. that kind of led to Sting just being like, "Oh, hey, I'm the Black and White Sting again." Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, did they even have a way of him going back to being black and white, or was it just like, no, I'm Black and White Sting again?
Well, I think when they folded the Wolfpack back into NWO Hollywood, which again made no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was never an explanation there.
Mm-mm.
And I think, because Luger turned heel, and I think he tried to be like Sting, hey, come join me, you know what? And Sting's just like, no, I'm good, fam. And he's no.
Did you hear what Kevin Nash said the original plan, I believe, was supposed to be?
What?
So from what he said after the whole thing with Hulk Hogan and the finger poke of doom and all that, I think if Goldberg wouldn't have put his fist through that car and did that whole thing and got hurt, I think it was supposed to be like a rematch from like the Nitro at the Georgia Dome where he won the title, and it was going to lead to Goldberg beating Hogan again for the WCW title. Which, I would be all right with it. I mean, part 2 of that, but you can't replicate what they did with the first one.
No, you can't catch lightning in a bottle twice.
Right. And well, if we wouldn't have got that, we did get Goldberg turning heel and then immediately back to babyface.
Like there are some people that just no.
Yeah, and Bill Goldberg is one not to turn heel.
There are some people that are better off as heels. Like it's okay.
But But Bret Hart made no sense in the NWO. I'm sorry, that was another one that made no sense.
Bret Hart in WCW, you could tell he was a broken man.
And you could just tell, like, he hated how he was being booked. He still blames Bill Goldberg for everything. Still will never not get
Which,
old.
Brett, I'm sorry, dude. It's like almost 30 years ago. Like,
Well, yeah, 27 years ago. It's like,
fucking
come on.
get over it.
I mean, even Bill said, like we've mentioned, like, how many times do I have to apologize to this man? Like, yeah.
Like, he's even said, he's like, I'm done. I'm not apologizing anymore.
Like, he didn't mean to do it, Brett. Like, come on. Goldberg doesn't have his skeletons either, Mister. Oh my God, the retirement aired on the YouTube channel. Like, Bill, they gave you a retirement. Shut up. You know?
He would have found something to bitch about. Like, it's
ridiculous. But honestly, I understand where Brett's coming from. But at the end of the day, too, man, 27 years is 27 years. Like, get over it, Brett.
like, I'll tell you the second when I knew that the NWO had gone too far.
Jeff Jarrett.
Well, then, do you remember? I think it was in Vegas, maybe, where Hogan's theme, which was Voodoo Child at the time, plays, and they're surrounded by the Hell's Angels.
Oh my God. Yes, that's right. That's right.
And I love how they mentioned Chuck Zito by name.
Yes, that's right.
Which was kind of like, I wonder if the club kind of told him, like, hey, because he was a president at the time. I think he was of the New York charter.
Yeah, he was on the New York charter at the time. That's right.
He was also on Sons of Anarchy.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
But it's just like, okay. And then, like, I knew it's just like, okay, this is because initially the NWO were like outlaws.
Yeah. And then it's like they invited everybody. Then you had the spin-offs with the Latino World Order, the LWO with Eddie Guerrero.
Not the bastardized WWE version.
I mean, I like Joaquin Wilde and I
do too.
But they kind of, with how they've gone through it over the years, with Santos turning on him, Carlito turning on him, and really only having Dragon Lee now, it's just, yeah.
Poor Dragon Lee.
I mean, he's doing his thing with Ray, and I like Dragon Lee getting some TV time, but it's like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Damn.
I mean, Ray Phoenix says what?
Now, again, that's why you have AAA. Let Undertaker have him. That's all you need to do. We say it all of the time. Yeah. But I have to ask you, to your point, did you like how they kind of did like the spinoff with like the LWO people in that during the WCW?
Yeah. Like, I kind of thought the LWO was kind of cool. And it was made Eddie look cool, which was not hard.
No, not at all.
Because Eddie was just fantastic.
I mean, I think the best thing also with the NWO is also DDP being the one to diamond cutter Hall and take care of Kevin Nash, and then he wins the WCW title. I mean, Randy Savage in the NWO was fun too for his little short time, but I think one of the best people besides Sting to go against them was DDP.
I remember when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember everybody going like, "Oh my God," because he'd been a heel up to that point, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think I saw an interview where he said that was Nash, that was Hall's idea.
Yep, for him to swoop around to the diamond.
I think Hall came up to him. He's like, "Deli, let me tell you about something." And he said, "Hey, here's what you're gonna do." Because they were gonna do something. It was either way. It was gonna have the same result. But he said, "How about this? You put on the shirt, you give me a hand, I shake your hand, and then you pull me into the diamond cutter."
Mm-hmm.
They got it approved. Nash even wanted to do it. He didn't want to feel left out.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'll tell you, to his credit, when he does the right thing, man, Nash really does the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, even look at the X Division guys. He put over Chris Sabin in TNA.
And he put Rey Mysterio over clean in WCW.
Yes, he did. Do you also think, to a certain extent, like we mentioned, that era and the pops, like you mentioned with like Sturgis and where they would go, did you like the pop that they got when they did come back to WWE NWO, No Way Out.
2002.
Yes, sir.
I did. I thought that was freaking cool. Like when you have the screen go from like normal to black and white. I didn't like that. Again, they made fun of Scott Hall's drinking.
Yeah, that was the thing too. They made fun of his drinking problem. Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't as tasteless as when WCW did it.
And when they had that match with Kevin Nash and he was like, stumbling around the ring. Yeah. That was ridiculous.
But I thought it was cool. Like you could tell it wasn't working. Like the time to bring in the NWO was during the invasion.
But everybody wanted to say, well, look at this. If you're getting paid this amount of money and you don't have to work, would you take that? Yes.
Hell yes.
Yeah, for a year, yes.
You're gonna pay me 7 figures just to sit on my ass? Okay.
Okay. Well, that's the thing too with that hurt the invasion because like they had like the B and C team. They didn't really have a lot of the A team. And I mean DDP and Booker T were great, but it's just like, you didn't have the rest of the crew.
No, and I think that really hurt them.
I mean, also to an extent too, with like the rumblings about WrestleMania 18 at the time, and Scott Hall taking one of the best stunners in the history of stunners.
Yeah,
I still think, in a way, I don't blame Steve Austin for hating the creative at the time because I would have been pissed if I would have lost. But also at the same time too, from what Kevin Nash has always said, it was supposed to be Scott Hall beats Stone Cold, and then Rock beats Hogan, and then they're supposed to lay him out after the match. Do you like the fact that we got the babyface turn and Stone Cold beating Scott Hall as opposed to what we were originally supposed to get?
I don't think the crowd would have taken the other option.
No, I don't think so either. That would have been ridiculous.
Oh, it would have, because like I just think when the crowd wants what they want, they're not going to stop till they get it.
That's and I mean, do you think Scott Hall should have beat Stone Cold, or did they make the right call with Stone Cold beating him?
They made the right call there. And I mean, I will say this. I do say that Scott Hall is one of those dudes that should have been a world champion.
I agree wholeheartedly with you too. And do you like the fact that we got Hogan and Rock as opposed to Hogan and Stone Cold?
Yeah. I don't think Hogan versus Austin would have worked.
Besides the fact of who would have went over, if I'm being completely honest here, the match would have been better with The Rock as it was, the attraction-wise. With Stone Cold, different styles. Very much a brawler, and Hogan's more theatrical. So, yeah, I don't know.
Well, Hogan would have insisted on going over.
Of course. Hogan has to beat Stone Cold. Come on.
That doesn't work for me, brawler.
But
when you ever hear the story that there was that interview on Taker's podcast where he was talking about Hogan getting booed in the Staples Center, and you could just tell, like, he didn't care. He's just like, said, well, sometimes things come around.
Yeah, it's true. Like, and I mean, again, his last appearance is being booed in the Staples Center, but I don't blame you. Like, he already got heat from the jump with the merchandise he was wearing, the shirt he was wearing, and the eye rolls. And yeah, like he brought it on himself. I'm sorry.
And I will say about that, I do feel bad for Jimmy Hart.
That I do feel bad about because Jimmy Hart was in the line of fire that night.
Because you could tell he's just like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And I just thought the whole NWO thing was freaking cool. And then they were just randomly dissolved it.
Yeah, I think with the NWO and WCW, with everything that happened with Hulk, Scott Hall just not there, Kevin Nash just doing like, oh God, him and DDP were the insiders and they were the tag team champions for like a short time. Like Kevin Nash was just there, no Scott Hall, no Hulk Hogan. And I think with WWE, what really hurt them was Kevin Nash getting injured, Scott Hall getting let go for his issues. And it wasn't the same.
And then going to ECW.
Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide. I'm going to find you. Yes, I remember. But do you think as well, like with the fact that if you really even like truly think about it, and I'll even at this point, the other one that we have to mention here, and we mentioned like that 2002 run, but I have to ask, Shawn Michaels as the leader of the NWO.
No.
Really? Did you? Well, it was great to see him back, and I'm glad that we got the era that we did of his 02 run to his retirement. But the fact that you didn't like the fact that his first official spot back as the new leader of the NWO?
I didn't like that he came out and he's all dancing, doing his normal shtick. Like, just walk out.
Yeah, you don't have to be the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels in the NWO.
Just be Shawn.
Yes. Well, do you think if this is hypothetically speaking, if Kevin Nash didn't get hurt, I mean, they took Booker T out, the Big Show kind of went to SmackDown and all that stuff. Do you think it could have kind of worked with Shawn if Triple H and all them were like still around?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely would have worked. Well, I think realistically they could have done something with, turning Triple H heel. You have Hall, you have Nash, you have Triple H, you have HBK, you have the Click, but it's called the NWO.
The thing too is like the whole Booker T thing. Why the hell did Booker T even join the NWO too? Even thinking about that now. Is it just because they're like, hey, we never got to do it in WCW, but hey, Booker T, NWO. And then they had Goldust trying to be in the NWO. Crikey!
The show, the crocodile, and then the Shopopotamus.
The Shopopotamus. Him and Booker T in the 7-Eleven talking about his wiener. Oh, God, those are great. Him in the friggin' bedroom with the girl. Yeah.
And I will tell you, half that stuff that Booker T did with that, that Goldust did, there's no way that would get done now.
Oh, God, from what we did in 02 to now, yeah, with that, no, not at all. Somebody would be complaining.
Katie Vick says what?
Katie Vick says what? Same year. HLA. Billy and Chuck says what? Yep.
Which, if you want to hear more about that, listen to the Uncaged podcast where Michael Larkin and I discuss it. Cheap Pop #1.
But yeah, man, I think if you really look at the legacy of the NWO, it has ties with just what it goes down with history-wise, with what they did and the impact of where they would go. And one of the greatest factions ever, dominant from like 96 to 97, like were the great years for me, from when Sting finally wins the title, even though that match was so facocketed at Starrcade 97 and the controversy, it still made for a hell of a time.
In which you and everyone will admit that was Sting's fault.
Yeah, because he didn't kick out.
Well, that and he wasn't in shape.
That too, yes.
Sting's admitted it. Nash is like, we got a problem here. Like, he's not ring ready.
No, not at all. And I'll be honest with you, if I remember watching that match from like back in the day, I just remember the moment. From what I recall, the match really wasn't that good.
No. I think the spot with Bret Hart wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, but they needed to do something to like cover up the fact that he didn't kick out.
Yeah, so we did that. I will say the match that they had, the rematch, I think it was Fall Brawl.
Yeah, the Fall Brawl match was better.
Or not Fall Brawl, Super Brawl.
Super Brawl, thank you. I apologize. Yeah, that was better.
Yeah, that was better. That's more like what we should have gotten.
But I think it's a time period, too, when you're in the 90s. You needed something fresh for a lot of these characters, and we got something fresh to compete with what WWF was doing in 96 with the New Gen era and the cartoon characters. It really gave a nice little spice to professional wrestling.
The Dumpster Josie says what?
Oh, fuck him. I saw that story on him. He can go fuck himself. Fuck you, Duke.
Last time I think that he was on WWE TV, and I could be wrong,
okay,
was the Gimmick Battle Royal at WrestleMania 17, which was won by the Iron Sheik.
Make you humble. Fuck the Hulk Hogan.
Which he had the longest entrance on that card.
Bobby Brain Heenan, like by the time the Sheik's going to be in the ring, it'll be WrestleMania 40.
God, I miss Bobby Heenan.
God rest his soul. But yeah, no, I think wasn't he in the Raw 15 Battle Royal? I think no. I don't think he was. I think it was just the Gimmick Battle Royal. You're right.
Which I think it was more of like just a walk around the ring for a bit.
They had the Goon in the Gimmick Battle Royal.
They had Kimchi, who was Harvey Whippleman.
Good old Kimchi. Oh, gotta love it.
Good times.
Good times. But yeah, no, if you really think of the NWO, it had its good, it's had its bad. It had too many cooks in the kitchen, but I think overall, definitely one of the most legendary factions, and definitely made the 90s a great time for professional wrestling.
Oh, easily. And, it's... I don't know if you can say with 100% certainty that had we not gotten the NWO, things wouldn't be what they are now. Like Bullet Club was very NWO inspired.
Oh yeah, with what they did in Japan and the Too Sweet and everything, absolutely.
You know, I will say the OG Bullet Club, the Finn Balor era, I would say up until the Kenny Omega era.
I agree with that. You know, who's the leader of the Bullet Club now?
Nobody.
That's what I thought exactly, because it was
They got rid of it.
Well, wasn't David Finlay in there? Wasn't he like the last leader?
I think he was the last. I think there was someone briefly after him, but it was Finlay.
Yeah, David Finlay.
But he loves to fight.
I love Fit Finlay. Yes, I know. Jay White was one of the leaders too. Yeah.
And it's so cool to see Jay White healthy again. Kudos to him.
I agree. Kudos to him. But yeah, if I had to pick my favorite iteration, it's probably either the Finn Balor era, the AJ Styles era, and the Kenny Omega era.
Well, I think from a business profit standpoint, you got to go with the Kenny era.
Yep.
But really like the AJ era where he showed up, won the IWGP title in his second match.
Mm-hmm.
Unheard of.
I think where I'm tied also with that too is still my favorite. I like the Cody era. The Cody era was fun. But yeah.
No, fuck the Revival.
Fuck the Revival. Oh, but yeah, no. I think with all these factions that we're talking about, DX, the Bullet Club inspired. If I had to say even in between the two, for me with NWO and DX, I think when we got like the revitalization with Triple H, China, and the Outlaws and all that good stuff at the time, that was cool because it was different from what we were getting on WCW, because the NWO, Big Show's even said it, like the locker room had a problem because it's like everybody got tired of being beaten up by the NWO. That was kind of like when the NWO was really going downhill, because it's like, what are you doing tonight getting beat up by the NWO?
And like you split up was it Buff Bagwell, and at the time was it Scotty Riggs?
Yes, the American males.
Terrible theme, but cool wrestlers. Like
you also had Scott turn on Rick.
Made no sense.
If that didn't happen, we wouldn't have got the big bad booty daddy.
And I don't know if we'd have Braun Breaker.
Oh, this is true.
Which I don't know if I wouldn't be shocked to see him get Money in the Bank.
No, I definitely think he will. He definitely has such a shine on him. It's crazy.
Honestly, I think it's time to turn him babyface.
Agree. He was a great babyface in NXT. I can't wait for Scott's son to come in. I think it's going to be sweet. Sweet.
Bloodline 3.0.
Bloodline 3.0. Yes.
Like, dude, I keep going back to that image of him spearing I Show Speed, which
hurts.
So much respect to him
for taking that bump. Yeah.
And because like he told Braun Breaker, like, go for it.
Mm-hmm. And he did it.
And I would have been like, okay,
like, I'm gonna lay it in.
Like I'm gonna get you. That whole segment was great. Like Triple H just being like, go out there.
What you mean?
Just go.
You'll be fine.
It's fine.
He knows it's fine.
I gotta say this in aside, because I know I speak for you, but if there was ever a forbidden door, I need a segment with R-Truth, Danhausen, Broken Matt Hardy, and Blackheart Leo Rush.
That would be something. That really
would. It would be comedy gold.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like at first I wasn't sold on this Leo Rush thing, but it's caught on.
It has. He knows. It's
and like I forget who it was, but he was being interviewed for something, and he had the ROH TV tell him, the guy's like, "Can I touch?" He's like, "No."
He's great.
You gotta believe in yourself.
You do. I mean, if you would have told me that the guy Lashley, the guy who was doing the stuff with Action Andretti, has gotten this crazy character over, I would have told you were nuts. But he's really invested.
I mean, sometimes in life, you got to take a chance. Like,
well, Broken Matt Hardy is the best example of that.
NWO, like the fact that Hulk Hogan took a shot on this,
and
it worked.
It did, because people were tired of babyface Hogan.
Like, we were tired of the same old crap, the whole take your prayers or say your prayers and take your vitamins, brother.
Yep.
But, like, I remember hearing that, and as a kid, it's like, oh my God, Hulk Hogan talked like that. Like, what did he do?
He pissed off a lot of kids, and I got to tell you, it was worth it.
I mean, it was like the whole Cena heel turn. That was perfect. But they took their foot off the gas.
Yep. There was so much wrong with that heel turn, which we did discuss on Uncaged Cheap Pop number 2.
Not Cena's fault. Like, Cena did the best he could.
He could, but the problem was the whole Rock thing, the Travis Scott thing. Fiend, Daniel.
Why do you hate me?
I'm sorry. But, and then it's just like, it's like, okay, we got the Randy Orton match. We got the CM Punk match. Can we turn him back babyface, please?
We did.
And we did.
I mean, I still say he should have held the title till he was leaving.
I agree too, but they wanted to go back to Cody and get John in there with Logan Paul, and then the one last match with Brock, and then, of course, the Gunther match and Dom.
Gunther was the perfect person.
It was. But I think, too, the only problem I really had was, like, the Brock Lesnar match. It's just like he squashed him like he did at SummerSlam 2014. It's like, did that match really need to happen? No.
Could have been a segment.
But, yeah, that's where we were. There's a lot of things that shouldn't have happened with and in the NWO stuff. But still, those years were great. And then they fucked it up. But still, I try to remember the good times. And there was a lot of good times with the NWO.
There was. There were a lot of good times with the NWO, and I think when we look back at its legacy, we can see how much it changed the landscape. It's at that time, the mid-90s, wrestling had to change. It's evolution is a mystery, full of change that no one sees.
Thank you, Motorhead. Thank you, Lemmy. We miss you. God rest your soul.
And the NWO was that catalyst that, like, it made WWE say, hey, we got to change or we're going to get left behind.
Well, it's even the merch, too. Like, their merchandise was too sweet. The theme song was fantastic. Like, the whole...
Especially at 4:04.
At 4:04. Rest in peace, David. But no, that whole presentation, it's still one of my favorite theme songs.
Do you remember the following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order?
Yes.
Perfect.
So good. So good.
I mean, I guess if you want to mention a bad member, Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, we mentioned Ted, but I'm like, he comes from the WWF at the time where he was the $1 Million Man doing his thing. I think that was after we had the Ringmaster with him and Stone Cold, and then he left.
Because that really went nowhere.
Nowhere at all with the $1 Million.
Well, I think if I'm right, I remember there being a thing where initially they kind of wanted him to come back for at least one more match against Steve.
Yeah.
But Ted didn't want to do it.
Ted's like, no. No, thank you. I'm good.
And they're just like, okay, well, then bye.
Bye. Yeah, he has mentioned he didn't like the direction of the WWF where it was going, and he was like, no. And then he
didn't like the risque nature of things.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. What a time, man. What a time.
I do wonder, the $1 Million Championship, like, that used to be in Vince's office.
Yes.
Kind of wonder who has it now.
I don't know. But that's, oof.
They did value. They said, realistically, it's not worth $1 million. It's more likely to be worth like maybe $100,000 at best.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, because it's not solid. If that were solid gold, it'd be worth millions.
Yes.
And I know Vince kept it in his vault, in his safe in his office. Because, like, you can't have that, in a warehouse.
No, something as prestigious as that. No,
But I'll bet Triple H probably has it,
probably in the vault somewhere.
or maybe Conrad has it.
Knowing Conrad Thompson, that wouldn't shock me either.
Him or what's his name, Lambert?
Oh, Dan Lambert.
Yeah, him. I kind of miss him.
He was a good heel, man. I'll pay you, Dan.
If AEW needed to do a authority figure, he would have been perfect.
I mean, he was great in American Top Team in AEW and TNA, so yeah, why not? Has a pinfall victory over Cowboy James Storm. Let's go.
Exactly. We want to talk about Let's Go. We did just Let's Go when we talked about the New World Order, the 30 years of the NWO. As we kind of circle down to kind of put a nice, neat little bow on all of this, I'm like, well, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Where would you what would you think of what do you think ultimately is the NWO's legacy as we reach 30 years going forward in the future? Where would you rank the NWO as far as factions go?
Probably in the top 5. That's probably my third favorite faction behind the Four Horsemen. And I think the other faction that I really did enjoy, I mean, Evolution, just because it really propelled Randy Orton and Batista to where they would go, and Triple H and Flair. I would probably put it in my top 5. I think the legacy of the NWO is it was a group that really highlighted Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and Hulk Hogan from where he was as a babyface to where we needed him to go as a heel. It provided a lot of great edge, and it made it cool to be a bad guy. And it also really propelled a lot of great factions like DX and the Bullet Club and what we would see going forward. It's a moment in memory and time that solidified the 90s and what made WCW fun and cool as the alternative to the WWF. So if I had to say its legacy, it's something that was cool, it was something that was fun, and it's something that really, just changed the business for everyone.
I would agree with that. I think its legacy it'll withstand the test of time. When you think great stables, in the 90s, you had the NWO. They were like the Empire from Star Wars. Like they were the big bad guys where you want to see them lose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had their own. What stables ever had their own pay-per-view?
That's right. NWO sold out.
Terrible show, by the way.
It was a horrible show, but yeah, they're the only ones who could say that.
We got, I believe it was it. What was it? It was the Steiner brothers versus Hall and Nash, and you had the referee come out of the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, any match that was won by a WCW guy got overturned on Nitro 2 days later.
Yes, pretty much.
I think except for the ladder match for the U.S. title, which I think was Eddie Guerrero and X-Pac?
Yep, Eddie Guerrero and X-Pac.
Which that match was actually pretty decent.
Very, very underrated.
But that's Eddie.
Yeah, it's by cheating still. It's Eddie Guerrero, Latino Heat.
Which, it's... I think when we ultimately look back at the NWO legacy,
mm-hmm.
I think it was highly indicative of what the 90s were, what the culture was at the time. You kind of had the beginnings of the rebel against authority. They were printing money with all that merch. I mean, you had NWO teddy bears, NWO bedsheet, NWO anything. Oh, they probably had NWO condoms too.
Probably, yes.
They're probably out there somewhere, but
it's the wrestling version of Kiss.
I just think it's cool.
It is, and it's the wrestling version of Kiss, where they have merchandise for everything. Fuck the Gene Simmons.
Kiss casket says what?
Ooh, yeah.
Just fucking why?
Because it's Gene Simmons. Make a profit off of anything.
This is a guy who whored out his own band.
Very much so. Fuck the Gene Simmons.
I will say biggest mistake that Ace Frehley and Peter Criss ever made was selling off the rights to the Catman and the Spaceman.
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin in the Spaceman. Yeah. Oof. That's just another story for another day. That's another pod for another day.
Maybe that'd be a good episode of the Pop Culture Podcast.
I like that. We still have our Halloween movies to do. So yeah,
Everything wrong with Kiss.
Everything wrong with Kiss. Yeah. Fuck the Gene Simmons.
Paul Stanley, you're okay.
You all right, Paul Stanley?
Most of the time. Most of the time he's sometimes he's like that grandparent that you love, but occasionally says shit where you're just like,
oh, Grandpa.
Really?
Really?
Now, I will say, just as an aside,
yes,
their children have formed a group.
Really?
They're called Stanley Simmons. It's his son, Gene's son, Nick, and Paul's son, Evan.
Okay.
They're not hard rock. They're, if you think like Simon and Garfunkel from like the 60s, like kind of like folk type music.
Mm-hmm.
They're really good.
I will have to check this out.
Like Nick looks just like his dad, Gene. He's got like the long hair. He's got just like the facial expression. Like, you need somebody to play Gene Simmons in a Kiss movie. Like, dude, he's right there. Which supposedly they're doing.
Wow. Okay. All right. Now
they've already cast Paul Stanley.
Okay.
Nick Jonas.
Nick Jonas. Oh boy.
Whatever.
Okay.
Not our circus, not our monkeys.
Not my monkey, not my circus. Yes, sir.
But what is our circus is this fine program right here. You know, we always try and strive to. I always strive to put out good products for you folks. You know, good episodes, whether it just be solo products. We love you solo.
We love you solo.
Whether it be me or if I'm joined by a guest such as Mike or Paul or Mike and Paul or anybody. You know, maybe it'll just be the voices in my head. They counsel me. They talk to me. Or however that goes.
Yes.
Anywho, something I really enjoy, and, you know, I want to do more of it. You know, come back with more organized platform. You know, I will be doing another episode. Probably tomorrow I'll be recording another where I will be discussing the heck is going on with TNA and what could this mean?
Ooh, okay.
And also the fact of like WWE games right now, like seriously, Mike, they put the president and CEO of Take-Two Interactive in the WWE video game.
I saw that. I laughed. I'm like, come on.
Dude, his entrance theme is My Way by Frank Sinatra.
Sweet baby Jesus. God,
the fact that you have that song in a wrestling game is like
nuts.
I can only think how much they paid for that.
I swear to God, it's worse than Pat McAfee's characters in DLC. No, I'm good.
Hey, Jelly Roll's going to be in the game this year too.
See, he's a piece of shit with everything going on, but I can't deny that his wrestling matches were good.
No, I can just use him to throw him off Hell in a Cell.
That too?
Or, you know, Inferno matches are a thing.
They are.
But what is a thing is more fun programming on this show, and also the show that Mike and I, you know, co-host together, Uncaged.
Yep.
Our last episode of our last season, we did wrestling movies. We're going to be taking a week or so off to kind of catch a break and refocus. Mike, I know we have our next season, and what episode will we be discussing for these fine folk?
Okay, so we're going to be taking a few weeks off. We'll get back on the Uncaged realm soon. If you guys want to check out Uncaged Season 6, season finale, like Dan mentioned, all the great seasons, you can go to S&M Network shows. We are actually going to be doing, for our first episode, a WWE AEW fantasy draft, which I've been looking forward to for a long time. Dan and I have discussed doing this since we started Uncaged a mere 3 years ago. So the fact that we're doing this now, I cannot wait. I'll have all my picks set. So will you. Definitely going to be a fun one.
And to give you folks a little bit of how that'll work, everyone is draft eligible.
Okay.
We're talking WWE, all brands, NXT, and AAA included, AEW, all brand, Collision, whatever you want to call it, eligible. And hell, we'll say all promotions.
All right, I'm looking forward.
It'll be kind of interesting. We're Mike and I will hash out the exact rules as to we can kind of make it, maybe similar to the MLB draft or the NBA or NFL or whatever 3-letter sports acronyms.
We'll be like Paul Rudd and Knocked Up. I got Matsui.
God, I haven't seen that movie in ages.
The fact that hey man, we told you no wives allowed.
Back when they were trying to make what's his name a star, Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
You ever notice you never see him anymore?
That's right, yeah.
Kind of like Christian Bale. Like you don't see Christian Bale in a whole lot anymore.
Nope. Nope.
Like I remember when Batman Begins came out, which again I think his best one.
Yes, I agree with you on that.
Like if you're talking just his performance, it was that one. I don't know. I liked it. Yeah, I thought it was a good one.
Same, man. Same.
And so you all know where to find me and what I'm working on. We recently recorded with our good brother, Mr. Paul Morales.
Yep.
And I lead this over to you. Michael, what do you got working? I know you've got a whole bunch of shows coming on, and you have you got a little bit of a situation going on with those cats over at Max Wrestling and a certain someone.
Absolutely. So if you want to check out me, like Dan mentioned, S&M Network shows for Uncaged, the RWT podcast, which I'll be working on and putting out this weekend. We had a great show, covered a lot of great topics. We also have Deep Into the Heart of Wrestling with Robert Davis and Nicola McDonald, myself and Roy Costin on the Takedown podcast, the Steve and Mike Show with my boy Stevie Nicks, a.k.a. the son of the Goon. We also got On the Mic with Mike, the LFC podcast, and so much more. So subscribe to the YouTube, SM Show 1, MCL92 on the Twitter, Larkin_92, MLarkinMB on the Instagram, SteveandMikeShow.com, WFJA.com/podcast, and LFCfights.com for all of the all audio and video content. Like Daniel mentioned, Max Wrestling UK on Twitter, Max Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. Daniel and I have been on there a lot, and you will be seeing me in a couple weeks at their special, The Great Promo Bash against Chris Reed. Fuck Chris Reed.
FCR.
FCR. So you'll be seeing me lay the smack it down on his bitch ass for a second time. There it is. So check out there, yeah.
Boy, I hope you know the hornet's nest you just kicked over, because at this point it's no rules.
Yep.
I know what this man can do when he's slightly annoyed.
Yep.
I've seen what he can do when you really piss him off. See, sort of like you're that fly that just won't stop.
Yep.
See, before, you humored him, you had a little fun, but now I think you're at that point where you're just like, oh, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. It's like when you get into an argument with someone, then you're just like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, which is another way of telling them go fuck yourself. I'm at that point.
It's where you repeat yourself and you repeat yourself and you repeat yourself. They're thinking that it's good. No. So maybe you got to put on your big boy pants and, use your big boy voice and, kind of show him what for.
Got to put him over my knee and give him a spanking.
Because we know after you, we know who he's got after you.
Absolutely.
I'm waiting for that one.
Mm-hmm.
So we got that coming. We got more of our shows coming. We got a lot of cool stuff coming. I do believe we are recording again with our brother, Mr. Paul Morales, next week. We're going to be discussing next week's shows.
Yep, we'll do that next week.
So again, my name is Daniel Crimmins. This guy right here is Mr. Michael freaking Larkin. This has been the Piledriver Pundit. and I thank you for stopping by. Yarp.
All right, we are done.
Maybe.
Or not. We're still going, everybody.